news a couple of nights ago. Something came barreling through the sky, made contact with this building on the ground in the middle of Magnolia, New Jersey, leaving this hole in the roof of this business in Magnolia. That doesn't look like a meteor to me. If you look at the top part of this thing right here, this is the hole in the roof of a building in Magnolia. See that right there? That looks like the remnants of some sort of a wiring harness right there. Meteors don't have things like that. And then it's nice and round over here, nice and round over here. Obviously, a meteor can have round edges, but to me, that doesn't look like a classic meteor. And that would have been about a football-sized meteor, and it would have behaved exactly like the witnesses were describing. The few witnesses that were close enough to hear this object as it occurred at 2:30 in the morning, and I came over here to the American Meteor Society, seeing if there were any reports over here. This is the go-to place. The American Meteor Society is the gold standard for meteor reports, and there were no reports over here on the night of April 9th in the New Jersey area where this occurred, right in here, Magnolia, New Jersey. So what fell out of the sky that went through the roof of this business? And as it went through the roof, guess what was one of the first things it impacted? You're going to see it right here. Fall from the ceiling, or them. See them? Look at those long fluorescent bulbs landing on the ground. Wow. You don't see that very often. That is wild, and that is rare. And that occurred on the night of April 9th, 2025 at around 2:30 in the morning. Once again, no reports at the American Meteor Society, but people that were near the epicenter of the impact reported a bright flash like you're going to see here on these security cameras that were sent in by Heather out of Campbellsville, Kentucky. This occurred a while back, but there was also a very bright light that triggered all of her security cameras on her house. Check this out. You're going to see all of these cameras overwhelmed temporarily right there with a very bright light. And like the object up in New Jersey, you can see the same situation here. Night turned into day temporarily. Was it a meteor or was it something else? That was above Campbellsville, Kentucky. That went back a few months, but that's still very fascinating footage, like the incident up here in Magnolia, New Jersey. Mystery object falls from the sky. And as you guys know, last night was the pink moon everybody was anticipating. The moon gets its name Pink Moon, not because the moon is literally pink. It's not pink at all. You can see a photo right here sent in by Jeremy Staples. I simply made some modifications to make the moon look pink. But as most of you saw that witnessed the moon last night, it was nowhere near the color pink. It gets the name pink because of pink wildflowers that bloom in the spring. And I did get a poster somebody drew pointing at the pink moon last night. This photo here was sent in by Alfredo out of Ontario. Here's another photo that was sent in by Chris out of Niagara Falls, Canada. Notice the size, how it looks smaller compared to a supermoon. A supermoon is when the moon is at its closest approach to the Earth. This not only was known as a pink moon, but it was known as a micromoon because it was at its farthest point away from the Earth last night during the moon phase. I want to show you guys a few photos that were sent in by JR out of Dayton, Ohio. Not sure what's going on, but he took these photos last night of the pink moon, and this appeared in the photos. He didn't see that as he was taking these photos. He shared 3 photos with me. You can see the first photo showed the object, whatever it was, in the field of view. The second photo, it's not quite as big, almost as if it was moving through the sky. I did some work to these photos. I was anticipating seeing something down here below the moon, like maybe a branch or a flower or something like that. There's nothing there. Nothing at all. I don't know what that was. That was a very bizarre capture out of Dayton, Ohio of last night's pink moon. Check that out. What in the world did he capture? I don't know, possibly something moving through the nighttime sky that just happened to fly in between his camera and the moon as he was taking these photos last night. Not sure. One thing I am sure of, though, is there's nothing down below here that would anticipate this is something that's stemming up from the ground. There's no, like I said, pole or line or any type of pipe down there. There's some sort of a black anomaly that appeared in his photos of last night's pink micromoon. Thanks for the photos, guys. Really appreciate that. Also wanted to touch base on this photo that was sent in by Polenta out of Sacramento, California. I was under the impression that she took this photo from Sacramento, California, this giant plume being in the Sacramento, California area. That's not the case. This plume was somewhere else. She just happened to share it with me as she was wondering what could have possibly created this very large plume, and I'm thinking this has something to do with a volcano eruption. And I just wanted to clarify that this was not in the Sacramento, California area. Did you guys see the rockets last night? There was quite a rocket show on 4/12 of 2025. I want to share some videos that were sent in. Check this out. I've got multiple views of this rocket, primarily from Texas. This first video is out of Texas, sent in by Lisa. I put it in fast forward for presentation purposes. You can see the big halo that's out in front of the rocket. I'm assuming that's a rocket in last night's sky during the pink moon. You don't see the moon over here anywhere, right? I'm pointing that out for a reason, because you're going to see a video coming up. There's another example of that big halo out in front of the rocket sent in by Alfred Guzman. Not sure of the location. I'm assuming Texas. I've got another video of the rocket from last night, 4/12 of 2025. Once again, all of these are in fast forward. Charles Jones out of El Paso, Texas. Notice you don't see the moon anywhere in the direction this rocket is headed. The reason I say that is because of this video right here, sent in by Kelly Petty, of what looks like a rocket in last night's sky, 4/12 of 2025. However, this one here looks much different than the first three videos that we just saw. And notice what enters the field of view over here. Last night's pink moon, right over there behind those clouds. The other rockets weren't in the vicinity of the moon. They appeared to be heading in the opposite direction. There's the moon right there, more than likely in the eastern sky. So I put the videos side by side. Are these the same rockets? You guys tell me. Here's the rocket. I assume this is a rocket that we just saw over here on the left. The one over on the right, I'm assuming, is also a rocket. Both in last night's skies. This one here emitting that big halo that we've all seen. This one not. See how different they look? And those were both in last night's sky. So I'm not quite sure what was going on. I don't know if this was possibly from a different location, but it clearly had a different personality than this rocket over here on the right. I'm assuming that was a rocket over there on the left. Thanks for the photos and videos, guys. Keep them coming. If you guys have any photos you'd like to share, you can send those to reports at MrMBB333.com. If you guys have any videos you'd like to share that are too large to attach to the email, come over here to the homepage of the website, MrMBB333.com. Look for this red banner that says, have a large video. It's a Dropbox. Drag and drop your videos into the Dropbox. Please include your first name, date, and location, and I'll take it from there. Thanks for watching. Have a super day, and be safe out there.